Hello,
got a nice
Tom.
view of his house.
Yes.
Hi Stephen, I'm Tom Moyer, currently living in New Zealand, although originally from Scotland. I wanted to ask you a simple question. What's the difference between British humour and American humour? And do Americans understand satire? Thanks very much.
It was an interesting question all the way down in New Zealand. I've often thought that with American humour, it's certainly, if you talk the average sitcom in America, it's based on jokes. I mean, you know, real jokes. And there are exceptions. Terrific one-liners, just moving, fast-talking one-liners. And the greatest British sitcoms, I think, are based on character, and absolutely on character.
Yes.
And usually a failure of a character is the most important part. You know, the great sort of, the Mount Rushmore, the British Mount Rushmore of comic heroes are all rather similar. They're all trying to be grand in a world that is letting them down. Whether it's Captain Mannering in Dad's Army, he's kind of, you know, trying to be, and all right, Wilson, you know, and everything's going wrong. Whether you know, that's true of Harold Steptoe. You're too young to remember, but
no, I do remember.
It's true of Tony
Steptoe's
Hancock.
son.
It's true of Leonard Rossiter in Rising Damp. It's true of Basil Fawlty with his ties and his blazers. It's true of Alan Partridge. It's true of David Brent. You know, they're all failures. They're all hopeless.
Yes.
They all think they're great, but we see that they just don't get the modern world, and they can't properly react with them. That they're a failure. Now, an American would never have a failure as a comic hero.
Well,
The American hero is
success.
faster, sharper, cleverer.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a huge, successful comic film when I was a teenager, late teenager, I guess early 20s, Animal House. You remember Animal House? And there's a scene where there's a toga party, a famous toga party, and there's a John Belushi in his toga goes up the steps, and there's a folk singer who's playing on a guitar, and John Belushi just grabs the guitar and smashes it and kind of waggles his eyebrows at the audience, and everybody laughs. And I remember thinking, yes, an American comedian would want to play John Belushi. A British comedian would want to play the folk singer.
Yes.
The pathetic.
Yes.
Whoa, you know, and there are all kinds of social reasons for that, but we laugh at ourselves.
Yeah.
Americans, I think, and I wouldn't overstate this, are not that good at laughing at themselves.
Yeah. There's not that much self-deprecation.
No. I remember Jonathan Lynn, who's a great comic hero of mine. He was one of the co-writers of Yes Minister and Yes Prime Minister, and directed the wonderful My Cousin Vinny, which is one of the great comedy films, I think. And he said, when I was first going to America regularly, he said, don't make the mistake at a dinner party of having a sort of real kind of typical English discussion where you go, no, that's rubbish. But the truth is this, because an American will go, did you just say what I said was rubbish? Excuse me? And they'll be very offended.
Yes.
But we're used to sort of, you know, like they don't have Parliament. You know, I do think, for all that we say Parliament, all that shouting and disagreeing, it's, you know, it's very humbling. A Prime Minister has to go and stand and answer questions. Can you imagine Trump having to do that?
Yes.
Actually answer questions from other elected representatives, you know, on his feet.
Yeah.
You know, what is this $1 trillion deficit, and how is it going to be sorted out, and how is this fiscally responsible, Mr. President? And then the Speaker says, answer.
Yeah.
Whoa! You know, so you know, there's a lot wrong with our country, and our democracy is not in the happiest state it's been in my lifetime. But you know, I think this ability to laugh at ourselves is a very important one.